So Kanye, I mean, there's been a lot of stuff going on with him, right? The Super Bowl thing was an absolute shit show.
Oh my God.
What the fuck's this guy's deal?
Has he lost? I think whenever people are celebrities and they're so used to getting all of that attention, and then like, as what happens, like this is what happens when you're in the limelight and you're the current flavor of the month, eventually that shit slides, right? And so then the attention of the media, the attention of the public, the lemmings, like they go on to something else. Squirrel, bright light, like we're going to look at somebody else, somebody younger, cuter, smarter, sweeter, better looking. And then you start to slide and you don't quite know what to do with that. And so you start, kind of pulling these stunts to try to get the limelight back on you. And I think for some of them, they start kind of losing their marbles a little bit. And maybe that's what's happened to Kanye. I don't know.
But I feel like that's happened like 5 times. I feel like that's happened to him 5 times.
Yeah.
It's constant. It was Taylor Swift, right? I mean, that was a long time ago. Now we have this. So the most recent one is what? Wife wears a naked dress, and then there's talks of a separation now.
Yeah, I mean, she wore the naked dress, and in Texas we say naked, not naked. Like y'all do in California. Naked dress. Naked. Yeah, I mean, I was watching that on the red carpet, and here she comes in her beautiful coat, and then all of a sudden he like whispers something at her, and she drops the coat like a robot. And I mean, and I'm a divorce lawyer, right? I'm pretty jaded and cynical, and he whispers, and then she drops the coat, and it's like, what, whoa, like I'm sorry, you or I dress like that out in public, we getting arrested. And I mean, first of all, nobody wants to see all that from me. I don't know about you. Maybe you got some washboard abs or something really fun to see, but nobody wants to see that.
Who told you about the washboard abs?
but like, I mean, she was very lovely. I mean, her body was lovely and worth seeing. But I mean, you or I or anybody else in the world goes out there and drops their coat and has on a naked dress that looks like pantyhose. I mean, do people even know what pantyhose are anymore? Am I
Not
showing
anymore,
my
I don't think so. I know what you're talking about.
Got on a pantyhose dress, right? Yeah. And anybody else is getting arrested. I mean, down to like showing you hoo-ha. So, I mean, they showed her hoo. Now on TV, it blurred it out, but I mean, we're showing her hoo-ha.
Wow.
So, I mean, we're getting arrested for that. And so as a divorce lawyer, I'm sitting there going like, wait a minute, there is something really wrong in this situation. And so the next day he came out and on some media reported, that he said that he has this is the quote, complete dominion over his wife. Now, family lawyer, I'm like, dominion. Okay. That's a word. That's a word. And then, the next day or two, it was like, she's going to consult a divorce lawyer. And then a few days later, it's like, oh, we're getting back together. And, we're going to try to reconcile. And so, me, I'm like, are we trying to reconcile or is he silencing her again? Because the reports of her being silenced and not being allowed to speak in his presence, like those reports are widely reported in the media. And so I'm sitting here going like, as a woman, as a lawyer who represents women, I'm going like, do we need to call somebody, honey? Do we need to call the police to come help you leave? Like, do we need to call your daddy to come beat his ass and help you get out of there? Like, who do we need to call to help you leave? Because what I'm seeing is psychological abuse. I mean, I don't know the guy. I'm not accusing him of it. I don't know anything. I haven't been there. But it's just these signs are just, I'm just so concerned about her.
What it sounds like from what you're saying, obviously the quote of I have complete dominion over my wife, that's an abusive statement, right?
Yeah.
That means you feel you own her, right? Is that what that really means?
Right.
And then also the whispering in the ear, do this now. Do this now, right? Is kind of how I'm interpreting it. And to me, it's just like, what do you think is really going on? When you say silencing her, like, I don't understand this, right? There's another topic we'll get to in a little bit that has been widely talked about by silencing, right? It's like, I guess I just don't understand that world, right? It's like, what does that actually mean, and how can it actually happen?
I don't know. I mean, nobody's ever been really successful at silencing me.
There you go.
I mean, in a lot of instances, people would have wanted to silence me, but nobody's been very successful at it. So I have zero understanding of that concept. But it is definitely, when you look at the signs and symptoms of the emotional control or emotional abuse or psychological abuse, I mean, that's definitely one of them. And when you look at the reports in the media that have been reported about their relationship, where people are reporting that she's not allowed to speak in his presence and she's not allowed to speak out in public. And she's never, as far as I've been able to find, never done a media interview, and certainly not since all this has broken. She's never, spoken to anybody about what's happened in the last week or two. And if she were acting under her own free will, like, why doesn't she go talk to, to somebody on one of the news channels and give a little interview and say, I'm fine, I'm good.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. I wanted a publicity stunt of my entire lovely body because I like the way I look and I want women to see my body confidence or something. I mean, but she's not doing that. And when you add to that, Kim Kardashian actually spoke out the other day. There's a media report of that where she talked about some of the control of her and some. Now, nobody ever accused Kim Kardashian of being silenced either, but there were some similarities in what she said to what's kind of happening now that it's just very concerning. At a minimum, it's odd.
Yeah.
And weird. And at a maximum, I mean, it's very concerning.
Now, so when you were talking about Kim Kardashian, were you hinting around the fact that there was moments where Kim was also controlled or potentially controlled by Kanye West?
I mean, I think she's kind of said that. And then there's been some discussion even after the divorce where he has attempted to exercise some coercive control of her over their co-parenting and hiring private investigators and, following her around and stuff like that. Now, I don't know that he's been that successful with her because certainly between her wealth and her security team and, she has ability to get out from under any control that he would attempt to exercise. And her family unit, she has some different abilities. Where this other gal, Bianca, she doesn't seem to have that same support system that Kim Kardashian has. And I think, when generally when there are people and we can be sexist about it, but it's not always men, but when men are in this position where they're controlling of women like this, they tend to prey on women who don't have that support system, who don't have a daddy or a brother who are going to go beat their ass if they treat, this woman wrongly, and who don't have, the wealth or the means to get out from under it. And so I don't know these people. I don't know what's going on. I sure wish that we did know a little bit more about what's going on behind the scenes because it's very strange and very concerning. And I sure wish I could get her in with a lawyer. I know a few in LA that are really, really good. So I'd love to get her in with one to see what actually is going on.
So there's a massive difference between Bianca and Kim Kardashian, right? To your point, right? Just from like a family standpoint, Kim's unit, everybody's together. I'm not saying Bianca's is not. I don't know about her family. Just the Kardashians are public eye, right? You see everybody involved, right? But the big thing is, I think financially, right? Kim has fuck you money. Like you can't control her, right?
That's right.
The family has fuck you money, correct? Like you're not gonna get the same result. She's gonna be like, yeah, okay, dude, try it. Go ahead.
Fuck off.
I think more people like me than they like you, dude. Right?
Yeah.
But for this girl, it's concerning, right? Because she may not have that financial stability like a Kardashian has.
I think the media has reported, that it appears that she doesn't because when they first started reporting the possibility of divorce, they were talking about the fact that it appears that they don't have a premarital agreement. And California is a community property state, which the media reported, I don't necessarily agree with their conclusion, but the media reported that under some scenario, because he is apparently greatly in debt and has very little in assets left. I don't know this, but this is what this report said, that he had a lot of debt, and that if they got divorced under the community property scheme without a premarital agreement, that she could get sacked with a bunch of his debt instead of getting any assets. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think there'd be a lot of factors, like, was the debt incurred, before the marriage, or because he was a schmuck, or because of some wrongdoing. And there's a fairness element to that a judge would look at in California. So, I'm not a California lawyer, but I know enough to know that there would be a fairness element, and the judge would have discretion not to sack her with all the debt also. So I don't think that's a realistic assessment of what would happen to her in that scenario. But certainly the report to me says that she doesn't have her own source of funding to get her out of it.
Dude, so what do you think? Like, what do you think's going on, right? Because we have reports stating that they are not moving forward. They are rumors. Yeah. We're staying together. We're looking to work it out. Like, yes, like, what does that look like, though? I mean, you're a family law attorney. You've seen this many times play out, right? Like, where does this go from here? Like, where do you think it goes?
Yeah, I'm as much of a media conspiracy theorist as anybody. So it could just be that the media found something salacious to report about because she wore this naked dress that was a bad attempt at getting, some media attention where there wasn't any. And so it could be that it was a stunt and everybody's happy at home and the media is blowing some things out of proportion. Or it could be that, that there's really something to be concerned about, and that, that Kanye is exercising his dominion. And, when women are under this control, this trauma bond or this manipulation, maybe he has manipulated her back into the fold and through money or some sort of psychological control. And she's now kind of brought back in the fold and is either through physical manipulation or monetary manipulation. She's just not able to get out and go see the lawyer she wanted to go see. So I don't know. I hope that if that's the case, that she's got somebody somewhere that cares enough about her to help her, go get her nails done and then get to a women's shelter or something and get out. But, but if everything's fine and she's happy and everything's happy there, then go be happy, and the media needs to leave them alone. But I don't think anybody knows the truth except those on the inside of that situation. And I guess at the end of the day, we can just send her good vibes or prayers or whatever works for you, and hope that she's okay.
Great points, right? We don't know. Like, we don't live there. It's not for us to judge. We can only assume and kind of put the storyline together. And it's, it's entertainment, right? As well. But here's my thought. What if it was just a fucking stunt?
Yeah.
What if it was staged?
Well, that's what they reported yesterday. Kanye came out with a statement, or his publicist did, that said that there was some sexual something lawsuit against him by somebody, and they did it as a stunt to take away attention from that lawsuit.
I'll never understand it.
Yeah, maybe.